My name is Greg Godwin, and I'm a member of the annual conference, and I'm on the scouting committee for our conference. I'm also the board secretary for the General Commission United Methodist Men, and I'm going to ask Bishop Bickerton to join us. He's our vice president of our board on the General Commission to help us with this. Bishop Bickerton thinks he's here to help me. In fact, we've tricked both bishops, I think. We are going to present both our bishops the Silver Torch Award, which is the award the commission gives to individuals who work with children and youth on the national and global level and in our ministries, particularly scouting ministries, but it doesn't have to be only scouting ministries. Bishop Bickerton, I'll start with him, so go in chronology, and you'll understand why here in a minute. Bishop Bickerton was our speaker at the last United Methodist, full United Methodist service we had at the Jamboree in 2010. We have a mission focus with our ministry at the Jamborees. That year was nothing but nets. And we have no budget, as the bishop knows, working on the commission. We have to go out and raise money to do that ministry at the Jamboree. And we decided to use the patch culture to reach kids, to raise awareness and education about nothing but nets. And to show you how God was working in that, when we contacted Shelby Patch Company, he was excited about what we were doing and offered the patches to us at his cost. 50 cents a patch, that's cheap. And it was a mosquito patch, and the kids loved it. And they came to our booth, and there was an educational component, and at the service, our offering went to Nothing But Nets. Now, I was working with one of the bishop's superintendents, Don Scandrell, and when the bishop challenged the kids to give $10,000, he was at a youth event, and he says, they threw $10,000 on the stage to me, and there's more of you here. There was only 1,000 at that event, and there's about 5,500 at this service. He says, you could do better than that. And Don and I were sitting there talking. He doesn't realize they have the smart bracelets. They don't have cash in their pockets. It's on their electronic on their bracelets. So we were hoping we could even get the same kind of offering we got in the past, is between $2,500 to $3,000. Now, we didn't know this, but after we carried that box 2.5 miles down the road to count it so we could report it to the chief scout executive the next day, there was $12,500 plus change in that box. Yeah. The bishop had the scouts engaged. In fact, I had a young scout come to me the next day at our booth and told me that he emptied his pocket. He had $30 left. He says, I kept $5 to get myself back home, my expenses. The other $25 he put in the offering plate. A lot of that had to do with the motivation, the presence the bishop brought to that service. To let you know, our total efforts raised $17,500 for Nothing But Nets during those 10 days. So Bishop, we'll present both of them at the same time, but then the Bishop Steiner Wall's story connects with the previous Jamboree. She came to this Jamboree in 2013 here in West Virginia as we joined with the large Protestant service, over 10,000 people in the stadium for that service. And then the United Methodists offered communion on Brown Sea Island, and it is actually an island in the lake. And the bishop came and did that for us. She's the first female that we've had there, and it is also the first Jamboree to have female participants, not staff, participants. And you'll be seeing more of that in West Virginia because the summit has been designed for co-ed participation. somewhere between 900 and 1,000 people, mostly scouts, hiked over to the island and took communion with the bishop in the rain. In the rain. I mean, it was raining. And I learned something. I know why my Catholic brothers hold umbrellas. I thought they just wanted to keep the sun off their heads when they are off of communion. That's probably a good idea too, but wafers and rain do not mix. So the United Methodists are probably going to get umbrellas next time. So our bishop has raised our awareness that Scouting Ministries includes all youth and children, male and female, all children in our communities through all 5 agencies that we relate to. And she's kept that before us. And I'm glad she has, because we've been working on that and not had much traction until she came along. And thank God, God sent us a woman as a bishop. I came back from the commission meeting last fall to the circuit rider. I wasn't on the property, but a few seconds, I got in my car. They said, "You know what our bishop did?" I said, "No, what did your bishop do?" She stood at the door at the cafeteria and shook every child's hand. And last year, as she shared with you, the circuit rider was the largest youth event in this conference. That's how it's growing. It has young men there, young adults. It is a place for us to do ministry. And we should applaud our United Methodist men, because it is seen as a model for the denomination, what happens here. But she came and was a trooper, and they were just bragging left and right on you, Bishop. I said, "Well, what did you expect? We got a good bishop, you know?" I mean, one more story to connect the two bishops. We had a boy show up this jamboree. He's an 8th grader as a participant in the jamboree. He came to us before the bishop arrived and said, "I came to the last jamboree as a visitor." He was a 5th grader, too young to participate, at the age of transitioning from Cub Scouting into Boy Scouting. Somehow he found out about that mosquito patch and ended up in our booth and learned about nothing but nets. Went back, Bishop, and raised $820 in his home church, the United Methodist in Wisconsin, Theo Johnson, and came back and officially presented it to our bishop. Wow. So you can see the connection of the ministry that takes place with the young people there. And we don't know the full impact of our mission outreach of young people. And so we want to recognize you both today as Silver Torch recipients from the General Commission and the West Virginia Annual Conference. And just one more word now that I've presented those to you, is that Bishop Swanson, who's the president of our commission, was the speaker for the Duty God Breakfast at the National Annual Meeting of Boy Scouts of America in Nashville. And 1,500 people, it's an interfaith community, and did an excellent job of representing the United Methodist Church and touched a lot of lives that day. But he was presented the Silver Torch as well that day from that crowd. And he wanted me to congratulate you both, because I received the stuff at that meeting from Mark Stowe. And he said, congratulate you both in that.